Hi guys, Farouk here. I'm just going to be demoing quickly how I find useful the React developer tools. I feel like a whole lot of developers, front end React developers, let me just put it that way, don't maximize the tool well enough. Why it's arguably not one of like the most 100% needed for your day-to-day operations. I feel like it's a very valuable tool and can help productivity a whole lot, right? So quickly, I'm just going to be demoing how I use the React developer tools for my day-to-day operations. In order to do that, I'm going to be using my portfolio site, which I'm loading from my local server. The reason why I'm deciding to do this from here is because I'm fetching data, which is nice, and then I'm passing a whole lot of props and stuff like that. So um, in order to use the React developer tools, um, I'm just going to load up my. Okay, so this is the React developer tools, right? So I'm just going to inspect the page, and then this tool actually adds two additional things to your what's it called, inspect. That's the Chrome dev tool. So it adds the components and then the profiler. So but what I've used the most on my day-to-day operation is the components. I feel like the profiler is geared towards optimization and all of that. So it depends. I really don't do optimization day to day. So it's more of like once in a while. So the this is the components and this is the profiler. So a combination of this profiler and then the lighthouse reports can be so helpful in optimizing your website. So the profiler is just like I feel like it has a better context in the sense that you can see in real time the components that are lagging, what needs to be updated, what needs to change, how you can better improve that component itself. So for me, today I'm going to be demoing the components, and I understand this is what it looks like, right? So basically, this is what the components looks like. So everything here are the components present on this page at the moment, right? So all everything I have here are just all the components I have on this page right now. um, right from here, I think these are some Next.js related stuff. Server route, server router, route reload, and all of that. So all of these are just bundled together to serve this guy here. So I think this is where the actual site begins from this context provider. So if I open my code now, we'll find this provider, units learning scroll, recoil route, and all of this. These are things that are wrapping the children's, right? So let me just quickly open the code to see that. So if I go inside of my layout, I can see that I'm wrapping my entire code inside of the provider. And then when I open the provider, I can see that I'm using use learning scroll, and then I'm wrapping recoil route around that. So just to make this work, this learning scroll is for smooth scrolling. I need to wrap my entire application around it, and then I have the recoil because I'm using recoil, just some basic stuff, state management and stuff like that. Um, so how do I find this guide to be very very useful, right? So for example now, I'm jumping on a new project, a very large one at that, and then I need to see what's going on real quick, instead of just going over the code, trying to understand how data are being passed, what props are being managed, what state is being managed, what props are being passed, and all of those things. I can easily do all of that from the components, right? I basically see all the components I need from that page, and I see how the data flow, right? That's the data hierarchy and all of that. So we basically use it the same way we use the element, but see the components has an inspection for the component itself and not for the element, right? So if you want to inspect a page now, you just come inspect. So but then if you are using the components, you just need to come here and then inspect the components that you are trying to actually use. So let me use this tag for example. The reason why I'm using this guy, so if I inspect this guy and then I put my inspection, that's my pointer on it, I can see that this is the component that I'm trying to access. This is the stack component, and everything basically right here are present in this component. So when you look down, right, you see that I have these props. So definitely everything being rendered by these stack components are props, right? And they are passed down and then they are rendered in the hero, right? So that's basically what it means. Um, they are rendered from the hero, and then I'm passing all these data, code hours, data, I'm passing them down inside of this stack. But the actual, what's it called? The hero holds everything. So as you can see here, this hero doesn't take any prop. It's rather I have states, right? So I fetch the data and then I keep them in a state, right? I keep them in a state. So once I have the state, I have about one, two, three, four, five states here on this page. On this on this component, which is the EU, I'm using about five states here, and then I have a use effect, which presently doesn't have any function, right? So um, in a bit, I'm going to show the code what it looks like, but then you can see I'm storing things. I'm storing data here. I'm storing data here, and then I have another boolean state, and then I have a state that I set to false. So you can see this hero doesn't take any prop. Rather, I'm storing data as in states, and then I'm passing it down inside of this stack. This hero is a component that lies in this. This stack is the component that lies in the hero. So as you can see, I'm passing it down here, and these are the props that this guy is receiving. That's the stack itself. So this guy is rendered in the hero. So let's just take a look at what this guy looks like in the code itself. So if I go to hero, right? So this is what the hero looks like. As you can see, I have mouse position X and Y. You can see that here already. If I go one step up, back into the hero, you can see. So this what's it called? This is the state that I'm storing that, and then I have this one for storing the data. I have this guy again for storing data. I have this loading, and then I have this error and stuff like that. So if you count the number of states I'm maintaining here, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that's what this guy gives me. It gives me all of the 5 states. So I can see what's going on for these components. I can debug from these components in real time and see how data flows and stuff like that. And then I have a use effect. So where is that use effect? I need to find it. This is the use effect, right? So you can see I'm just doing a promise. I have two things I'm trying to fetch. So I'm doing that. I don't want to, what's it called? I don't want to fetch the both of them. I'm trying to do that asynchronously in the sense that once one is done and then I pick up the other one, right? So that's just basically it about that. And then if you look at the stack component inside of this guy now, I'm passing it down. I'm passing two things down inside of the stack. I have the code hours and then I have the data, right? So that's what the stack, these are the props the stack receives. So when you look at the stack here, you can see I have two things here that are being received directly from the hero component itself. So if you look at the data, I just have 6 here, but then when you check the hero, that's because I'm slicing it. I'm just getting 6 items from the complete items in the hero. I think that should be this guy, right? So that's just basically what it looks like, right, in the actual sense. So I'm just slicing 6 here, I'm getting 0 to 5 from here. So now let's assume you have a very, 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 very large project. Imagine how this can be helpful rather than tracing the code and all of that. And then maybe you are just onboarded on a project, or you are just so it's something I have found to be very useful. Like in the sense that okay, a whole lot of times I see people just console log, and then I don't think you have to console log everything. Why there's no problem with that? I feel like some of this console logging have been catered for by the if you are, especially if you are storing stuff in state and stuff, you can just see everything in real time, just like you are previewing your API calls, your GET request and all of that. So from the network tab, same way all of this can be done from here as well, and then you don't even have to do a console log. So this is one of like a very, very effective way I found the React developer tools. That's the component itself to be very useful. And then you can see the component hierarchy. You can see inside of the hero I'm rendering the stack, right? So and then lying side by side